this week's review of American Gangster, starring Russell Crowe and Denzel Washington.
Showtime.
The man I worked for had one of the biggest companies in New York City. He didn't own his own company. White man owned it, so they owned him. Nobody owns me, though. The most important thing in business is honesty.
Bribery, extortion,
Integrity, hard work,
murder, racketeering.
family. Never forgetting where we came from.
Who is this guy?
So you are what you are in this world. That's either one or two things. Either you're somebody, or you ain't nobody.
This movie has the trifecta: a great real story directed by one of the best in the business, and has two Academy Award-winning actors in starring roles. And they both have come a long way since Virtuosity. And this was a top-notch film from top to bottom. I had no idea what the runtime was until I was leaving to see this movie, and it's a whopping 2 hours and 40 minutes. So I was bracing myself for a long, drawn-out movie, but I must say that for the most part, this movie really didn't drag at all. And the runtime is definitely going to hurt the box office take, but I will say this movie is definitely worth checking out. Now, there were a few slow spots, but they were necessary, and they really didn't hurt the film that much. The cast is exceptional, and they did a good job of casting characters that you recognize, but would still look believable in their roles. And there were many standout performances, even by the smallest roles in the movie. And even though Denzel's character is, quote, the bad guy in the movie, he does come off as really likable. And I don't know if this is the case with the real person this movie's based off of, but he's like the bad guy that lives by a code. And I do think this is one of Denzel's better performances, and Russell Crowe is on top of his game as well. But there is one scene with Rudy D, or Lucas's mother, that was probably one of the best scenes in the movie. This is the first review that I've done of a movie that was directed by Ridley Scott, and he has quite a resume, starting with his breakout movie Alien, followed by the cult classic Blade Runner, and my personal favorite Gladiator. If he's directing a movie, I'm definitely going to be there to see it. And not all of his movies are on par with the ones just mentioned, but when he's on his game, he can put together a movie better than almost anyone else in the business. And of all the directors making movies today, he would easily be in my top 10. And this movie is one of his better efforts. The dialogue in this movie is right up there with Traffic when it comes to the business of drugs in America. And make no mistake about it, the drug business is a business just like any other. And drug dealers aren't the only ones making money off that business. And with that much money going around, it's easy to understand how even a good cop can get tempted. And I love the line in the movie where one cop says to another, "Cops kill cops they can't trust." Now, Russell Crowe's character kind of reminds me a little bit of Frank Serpico. And if you haven't seen Serpico starring Al Pacino, make sure you check it out if you have a chance. The look of this movie really took you back to the late 60s and early 70s. Everything from the clothes to the cars to the atmosphere. And this movie goes to show that you should never break your own rules or compromise your values. Stick to your guns, and if you believe in something, to stand for it. The ending was very satisfying, and you won't believe what you're going to read on screen when the movie's over. Some of the side notes in this movie were pretty eye-opening, and I do want to give a small word of warning. There is a decent amount of nudity in this movie, but it's not really gratuitous, and you'll understand when you see the movie. Overall, I would say it's an excellent movie, and I will say that for a film that was over 2.5 hours long, it really didn't feel like it. And if you had any interest in seeing this movie after seeing the trailer, you shouldn't be disappointed. This is definitely one of the better films to come out this year, and many people think it was released in November to give it a stronger chance to receive a few Academy Awards, and I think it will receive at least a couple nominations. From overall rating, I give American Gangster 4.5 stars.
Cops kill cops they can't trust.